Bhaskara Karanavar, a 65-year-old man from Cherianad, Kerala, had spent many years working in America and saved a great fortune. After decades of hard work, he returned to India to spend his retired life peacefully in his hometown. He had two children, a son and a daughter, but his biggest worry was always about his son, Binu Peter, who was physically challenged. Bhaskar was deeply troubled about Binu's future. The family believed that if Binu got married, his life would become more steady. They thought it was best to find him a bride from a modest background. During this time, a young woman named Sherin agreed to marry Binu. Her parents also believed that if Sherin married into such a rich household, her life would be safe and comfortable. So, Sherin and Binu were married. From the outside, it looked like a happy family. Bhaskar began living in his large villa with his son Binu, his daughter-in-law Sherin, and their daughter. Two neighbors, the house was full of life and they saw only joy. But behind the closed doors of their sprawling mansion, a very different story was unfolding. It was 7th November, 2009. The illusion of peace was shattered. Bhaskara Karanavar was found lifeless in his bed. Chili powder was thrown everywhere, a common tactic used by thieves to confuse sniffer dogs. At first, it looked like a burglary that had turned violent. But as police looked closer, they felt strongly that the killer was not a stranger. So what really happened to Bhaskar that night? This is a story that will show you that when a mind is possessed by greed and forbidden desire, it can go to any extent. A twisted and shocking case, the case of Bhaskara Karanavar. The police reached the spot and started their investigation. In the first step of the inquiry, they tried to check who was inside the house on the day of the incident. In the house were Bhaskar's daughter-in-law Sherin and the household staff. Sherin told the police that early in the morning, a servant noticed the front and back doors of the house were open. Then, the servant saw red chili powder scattered on the floor outside Bhaskar's room. Worried, Sherin went to check. The sight gave her a huge shock. Bhaskar was lying lifeless on his bed. Not only that, but chili powder was also sprinkled across his body. Sherin told police that it looked like a robbery. Many costly things from the room were missing. But as she spoke, detectives noticed her story had inconsistencies, and her behavior seemed suspicious. The autopsy report later confirmed that the cause of death was asphyxiation. It seemed Bhaskar might have fought his attackers. The police concluded the robbers probably killed him to escape. But as they investigated, they felt strongly that the killer must be someone Bhaskar knew, someone inside the house. There were three strong reasons for this suspicion. The first reason was Bhaskar's two Pomeranian dogs. Usually, if a stranger came into the house, the dogs would bark loudly. But on the day of the murder, the dogs did not make a single sound. From this, the police thought that the killer must have known the dogs. The second reason was the house doors. The investigation revealed that the doors had been locked the night before, which meant the killers must have entered without breaking in. The police suspected one of the people in the house must have helped them. The third reason was the spilled chili powder. This unusual clue made the police even more suspicious. Seeing all these facts, they understood that the answer was inside the house. As police delved deeper, they found their first major clue not from a weapon, but from Sherin's phone records. In the hours surrounding the murder, she had made an astonishing 55 calls to a single number. That number belonged to a man named Basith Ali. This was not a family friend. Investigators soon discovered that Sherin and Basith Ali were lovers who had met on the social media site, Orkut. Their digital affair painted a picture of a woman deeply unhappy with her life. But this was more than just a secret romance, it was the foundation of a murder plot. The motive, police concluded, was twofold. First, there was the money. Bhaskara Karanavar, a shrewd patriarch, had recently discovered Sherin's affair. In response, he had revoked a will that would have left a significant portion of his fortune to Sherin, effectively cutting her off. Second, there was the affair itself. Karnavar's discovery threatened to expose her. In her mind, the only way to secure both the money and her freedom was to eliminate the man who stood in her way. But before we reveal the shocking twist, don't forget to subscribe if you love detailed true crime stories. With the motive established, the details of the crime fell into place with chilling clarity. Sherin wasn't just a participant. Police believed she was the architect. On the night of the murder, she allegedly sedated the family dogs to ensure their silence. Then, she administered chloroform to her sleeping father-in-law before suffocating him. She left a window open to allow Basith Ali and his two accomplices, Shanu Rashid and Nithin, to enter the house. It was Sherin who directed them to sprinkle chili powder to create the illusion of a robbery. The staged crime scene, however, was not perfect. A single, damning piece of evidence was left behind. Basith Ali's thumbprint was found on a cupboard handle in the victim's bedroom. That, combined with the extensive phone records, was more than enough for police. Within days, the deadly secret was out. Sherin, her lover Basith, and their two accomplices were arrested, and the story of the daughter-in-law's ultimate betrayal became front-page news. The trial was swift. In June 2010, the Mavelikara Additional and Sessions Court delivered its verdict. Sherin, the mastermind, was found guilty on multiple charges and sentenced to life imprisonment. Her co-conspirators, Basith Ali, Shanu Rashid, and Nithin, also received life sentences. Sherin appealed the verdict, all the way to the Supreme Court of India. But the evidence against her was overwhelming. Both higher courts upheld the conviction, and in 2018, her final appeal was dismissed. The legal road had ended. Sherin was to spend the rest of her life behind bars. Or so everyone thought. For over a decade, the case faded from the headlines. Then, in early 2025, news broke that the Kerala state government, on the recommendation of a jail advisory committee, was recommending Sherin for early release. Under Indian law, life convicts can be considered for remission after serving a minimum of 14 years. The recommendation immediately sparked a political firestorm. Opposition leader Ramesh Chennithala slammed the decision, pointing out that hundreds of other prisoners who had served 20 to 25 years were still waiting. He alleged that higher-ups had exerted undue influence, a move he warned would send a dangerous message. The public outcry intensified as details about Sherin's time in prison began to surface. A recommendation for early release is typically contingent on good conduct, but Sherin's record was complicated. She had been granted parole 22 times, amounting to over 444 days of leave. Allegations flew that she received VIP treatment inside the prison. More damningly, just months before her release was considered, Sherin was named in a new assault case for allegedly attacking a fellow inmate. Critics asked how a prisoner with a recent disciplinary issue could be described as reformed. The government maintained the decision was legal, but for many, it felt like a betrayal of justice. Despite fierce opposition, the system moved forward. In July 2025, after serving just over 14 years of her life sentence, Sherin walked free from prison. The Sherin and Bhaskara Karanavar case remains one of the most infamous in Kerala's history, not just for the chilling nature of the crime, but for its deeply controversial final chapter. It left society grappling with difficult questions. What is the true meaning of a life sentence? When does a debt to society end? And can power and influence bend the arc of justice? The murder exposed the dark secrets hidden within a seemingly perfect family, but the release exposed the complex and often troubling intersection of crime, punishment, and politics. For many, the release of the daughter-in-law with the deadly secret felt less like an act of mercy, and more like justice, once again, denied. That's all for today's video, and if you watched it till the end, don't forget to like and subscribe.